And back behind those horses, I Am Unstoppable. Osmosis at the clock tower, led by a length to Shinzo. Arkansas Kid and I Am Unstoppable is running on. The leader, Osmosis, with 50 metres to go. Osmosis is clear and will take it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mox Sports Presents the Quaddie Poddy, of course, trying out the live stream again. If you're joining us on YouTube, thanks for being here. If we're in your ears, as always on the Thursday morning, thanks for being here as well. Cashy, joined by Nicko. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well, mate. Racing's it's great to have it back, isn't it? Footy finals as well. It's a pretty exciting time for punting and for different reasons. So I'm going really well.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to discuss. Fair warning, punters. You know, we might end up with the 45 minutes of the standard today, but don't be surprised if we go over. There is so much to discuss. We've got a lot to unpack from last week. We've got a lot to unpack this week, plus plenty of listener questions coming in, and we're going to try and do our best, to get to all of them. So we may as well just crack straight into it. Last week, another fat week for the pod, 6 big winners, mate. And in races 3 to 7 at Randwick, just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, it did well. Got a bit. I thought we were going to start off real well with Cheerful Legend. My horse started off nicely.
Oh yeah, we were a nose from having like 8 or 9 winners. We were in a lot of photos.
Yeah, it finished well. It's going to get an experienced jockey on it in the future now, which will be good. But yeah, pretty annoying. Lost in the bob of the head in the end.
I was also very annoyed that I didn't go Northern Eyes. I was that close to going it.
It is what it is. So but yeah, I was out at a wedding on the weekend, so I got to watch some of the big races when I could. Went back and watched a lot of replays, but I didn't get to watch much of it live.
Yeah, I was at the track, first time at the track this spring. Nestled down in the old stand and found one of the old private boxes. Obviously not private anymore, but you know, it was kind of cool to pretend that it was our own private box just because no one was there. So we got it mostly to ourselves, and you know, good view just past the winning post, and it was good fun when, you know, Melody again gets up, bang, and Redstone Well gets up, bang, Major Beal, bang, Your Bet Manal gets up, bang, and then into IME. Incredible, $11 into 480s, and it still gets up. I was just cheering, and then races, you know, 8 through 10 didn't really go to plan for us. But still, and then we had some success down in Melbourne with Pericles, making it yet another best bet sweep for us.
Yeah, look pretty good. We can't complain when we do that, and I know we multi it always, so it helps us out as well. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of key races to unpack. You know, first one being Giga Kick. You thought wins, snapped up for the Everest, gets the job done. I wanted to see how he goes off a year break because I never really trust year breaks. And personally, I think he did more than enough off a year break. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I probably should have looked at it a bit closer. I thought he'd really bounce back being out for that long. I thought that Clayton Douglas would give him the perfect amount of time and make sure he was well prepared coming into it. But it looks like they just sent him for a bit of a fitness run, really. They weren't too worried about getting the win first up. I didn't think he had a bad run. I think it was just pretty standard for a first up run, and we can wait and see how he'll go in the future.
Yeah, I'm not even sure about that. Like, I feel like they did have the intent to win, but just the fitness gave out, and that'll happen when you're off such a big, long break, especially when it's a break off an injury.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes those horses are just out for that long of a break for any number of reasons, but when you come off a major injury like him, when it was touch and go at some point if he was ever going to race again, obviously, you know, like I said, I wouldn't have been surprised if he came out and gapped them on class alone, or maybe he did what he did on review. He you know, presented, and he did enough, just didn't go on with the job in the last 200 meters, and I think he'll take enough fitness from that going forward. But I must say, Bella Nipotina, if she doesn't end up in the Everest this year, I don't know what's going on. And personally, I have her as my number 1 seed currently. She looked phenomenal.
Yeah, she's aging very, very nicely. Yeah, she had a great run, but there's still a couple more to talk about as well. I think After Cabin probably let down a little bit. I think we were kind of watching closely there.
Yeah, now with a gelding.
Now with a gelding to see how After Cabin went, but didn't really let down and didn't really come back at all, which we've seen a lot of success with other horses coming back from geldings. But no, didn't really look too good either. But
personally, I don't mind it because I always had a vendetta against that horse. But yeah, again, it was firming in the markets, and I expected it to. I made sure we put it in all our exotics. We covered it in the quaddie. Didn't need to in the end because, like you said, didn't really do much. Remark, probably, this is probably his class. Got a little bit maybe lost in the shuffle there, which is fair enough. I Am Me, I think, again, like really good run, one for us. I'm not going to complain. Does it end up in an Everest now? I'm not so sure. Probably ends up in the Sydney Stakes. Wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being maybe first or second emergency for an Everest. But I mean, if it comes out next start and repeats its efforts, I think it probably demands an Everest start. But I mean, there's a lot to fall away. It's the first Everest in a few years where we're only a month out and we've still got 10 slots to fill. Usually the slots are starting to fill up pretty quickly by now. But we've only got Bustling and I Wish I Win locked away. I'm sure probably after this weekend, we'll probably see a couple more slots fall. And then, in the 3 weeks leading up to it, it'll just start falling quicker and quicker. The other big one that you just, made a big call, it's Her Race to Lose, which again, I was with you. I didn't want to be on her because, again, I don't really love the horse. And I thought maybe she had a chance of faltering, but it was Her Race to Lose. And she did in fact lose it, but through no fault of her own, in my opinion, Amelia's Jewel.
Yeah, I thought she did it right. Like I said, it was always going to suit her not to be a big day where all the attention's on her. It was definitely one that she could win early to get her confidence up and to get the camp in good spirits. But yeah, I thought she had a pretty decent run. She just got beaten by a better horse on the day, but I still think she was the best horse in that race.
Yeah, Royal Patronage. I'm spewing I didn't tip it at like 24s. It was paying last time when we recorded the podcast because I knew it was going to have a cheeky race. That's why I demanded that it be in our quaddie because, gay input first up, goes straight to the front of potentially leader's day. I was on Democracy Manifest, just got way too far back. Less said about that, the better. But after they crossed the line, I was so ready to go to the board and, put a bunch of circles around Amelia's Jewel, be like, ha, 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 fraud, fraud, fraud. And I looked at the replay. She actually stormed past the rest of them pretty easily. She just couldn't run down that tear rail leader. So she did more than enough, I think. She pass mark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She can go second up and see what she does there, but definite pass mark. She's still on fraud watch, but she definitely isn't a fraud yet.
I think that's the best thing about racing is it doesn't matter how good a horse is because, in my opinion, she was the best horse in that field by quite a bit. But a horse better on the day can just be just by that 100 meters or less, whatever it is. It's just the game.
And that's just racing, and you just got to find the breaks, and that's racing. You'd think maybe it wasn't the best horse in the field, but it had the best ride and got the job done. We go down to Melbourne now to discuss the Moya Stakes, another, horse that came out of nowhere in the last few months. It was pinstriped last week, and this week it was Mornington Glory in the Moya Stakes. Fantastic.
Yeah, my old man was happy. He tipped it in the tip off, so he was very happy. We did miss this race. We were also watching the Swannies. Shout out to the Swans.
Fair.
That was pretty hectic. But yeah, I had a personal bet on Housekeeping in the end, just to see. I didn't think it would go as good first up, but I was like, I'll put a little bit. I think one of the bookies had a bonus bet back, whatever it was. So I was like, for every runner, if it doesn't win. So I was like, I'll have a crack. No matter what, I'll get a bonus back. And yeah, another 50 meters.
Made it exciting. Yeah, 100%.
Won.
Like another 50 meters probably was going to be a Hey Sue Go, Wish I Win photo finish.
Yeah. Same with I Wish I Win, who I went with in the tip off. I think, yeah, Storming Home. Lady Camelot was just holding on for third place in the end. And yeah, Mornington Glory stole the win in the end. Yeah,
Lady Camelot, the ride got a bit of flack. We debated whether or not Zach Lloyd was the right choice, but when you've got that lower weight, you only have so many options. Gay Waterhouse gave him a bit of flack afterwards. Apparently, she sat with him for ages and unpacked the replay and showed him what went wrong, what you could have done better. Obviously the whole argument is should have just gone straight to the front and not let Mornington Glory have its way. Does it have the speed to have crossed Mornington Glory the way it jumped out? Probably not. Hindsight's a great thing in racing, and run the race 10 more times. Maybe Lady Camelot does come out on top if it gets the front, but again, it adds to a trend I said that last week. I think we're going to see a lot of roughies get up this spring because I feel like everyone's so even apart from the standout, which I'll unpack later. But we've already had $12, $16, $10. I wouldn't be surprised if more roughies come out than favourites this spring in the big
100%,
races.
100%.
All right, mate. Should we go to the listener questions first or the hotline?
I'll go to the hotline. If anyone's watching live and they want to ask a question, put it in now, and we'll get to it once we get through the hotline and the listener questions. I know there's one in there just now, but we'll answer that one in a minute. Max. All right.
Alrighty, this comes from Baden Arthur, friend of the show. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey boys, it's Baden here, dear friend and fan of the show. Hope you boys are well. I'm stuck on this hypothetical would you rather question, and I want to get your boys' opinion on it. So would you rather you'd either take $1 million, walk away, or you can win $10 million, but you have to race in one Group 1 race. You're the jockey. You're whipping the thing home. You got to win this Group 1 race for $10 million. All right, it's throughout the Spring Carnival. You can pick one horse, one race. All right, which horse, which race are you going on? And are you winning? Are you taking that 10 mil? Or are you just going to take the 1 mil and, yeah, Bob's your uncle? Anyways, let me know, boys. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
I can see where he's going with this, but to be honest,
God, it makes it harder that I have to ride the horse.
not a very well structured question in the end, Baden. I'll take the 1 million. I'm no jockey, never ridden a horse, don't know how to ride a horse. Yeah, if I'm versing world class jockeys, probably no chance. Literally none.
I'd probably cause a few injuries, and I'll be probably playing bumper cars and.
I wish
I
I could, but I can't. I can't.
Yeah,
I'll take the million.
I'll take the million. I mean, if I wasn't riding the horse, probably just pick one of Via Sestina's races because again, I don't think she's losing much this spring. But if I had to ride it, I don't think it would get far out of the gates, let alone win.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I wouldn't know what to do. So let's restructure it. If they give us, let's just say we had to work a year full time as a jockey and we got paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Got a year to train.
Yeah.
Same applies.
So if I did have experience,
you've got a year's experience under your belt and you know what you're doing. Like you've got somewhat of an idea now. $10 million or $1 million front up.
I'd take the 10 and try and ride Via Sestina this weekend. Bit of a spoiler alert for what I think of the race later, but I mean, Long Flemington Straight, I reckon with a year's experience, maybe get it on the back of something and then let it get to the outside and use that straight. But that, again, I'm talking out of my ass here. I've got no idea, in the grand scheme of things. I listened to a podcast earlier today and they tried to break it down about how a jockey's mind ticks over during that race. And I was confused just listening to it. So I feel like it would go very badly even with a year, if I tried to ride, an actual horse at 60 kilometers an hour down a straight. I think it'd be very ugly.
Yeah, I'll take the mill. I'm not an idiot.
All right, this one comes from Ben Dover. Well, I have a feeling that's not his real name.
Oh, really?
Who do you think has the biggest cock in the Sydney jockeys room? I think J-Max got the smallest. Cheers.
Great question. Jamie, no, I'll go. What a stupid question. Great question, actually. Dylan Gibbons. Dill Gibbons.
I'll probably just go Nash because just the way he rides like he's got big balls. So we'll move on from that one. This one's from, okay, I feel like it's from the same guy because it says this one's from Huge Erection. So let's have a go here.
I don't even think I gave you
this is the same guy.
The answer to my own question before. If I was a bookie, I would definitely have Nash, Ruella, odds on, biggest cock. Some of those tight gaps he takes up that fucking Nemrick straight. Good Lord. Yeah,
fair. Basically what I said. We'll move on. Thank you, Bend Over, Huge Erection, whoever it is actually out there. Thank you for that. Charlie Manning, Mr. Shower Bets is back. It's becoming a regular segment on this pod. Let's see what he's got for us this week.
Hey boys, Shower Bets here. Got a few players. I'm going to start off with this, and I just think it wins easily. There's some good horses in there, but its last start looked amazing, stepping up, bang, perfect. All right, so we got that off. I like Snack Bar. Down at Rosehill. I think Mayfair look good, but yeah, I like Snack Bar. Who else have we got? Oh, yeah. Cool. Remember, Growing Empire. I just think Growing Empire gets it done. I mean, I know I'm going with all the favourites here, but I think gets it done. And Jolly Star, once again, just gets it done. I would like to put like a cheeky multi of Jolly Star, Growing Empire, and Via Sustina in a multi. I think that goes well. And I know I'm picking favourites this week, but I only had one winner last week in Berkeley's. On to this week, boys. Cheers, shower bets.
Thanks,
And,
mate.
All
Too
right.
easy.
Hopefully.
boys, but
Oh, you're still going.
got to place in the shower bets every week. Come on.
Okay. Hopefully he has a bit more success. So he's 1 for 6 at the moment. Hopefully a bit more success there. We move on to Lachlan Howard, long-time listener of the pod. Let's see what he has to say.
Good afternoon, boys. Just a bit of head noise here after back-to-back weekends that are probably even or down on the punt due to absolute fuckery of group races that just shit things happen. When is Animo coming back, and why did James Cummings do this to me?
Oh, I feel that. Feel that. Bring Animo back. Enough of this breeding stuff. We need him back.
I felt that man's pain through his voice just then. So, yeah, fair play.
Alrighty. We finish it off with a good friend of the show, Jack Pilkington.
Hey guys, Jack Pilkington here. Hopefully you're tipping my horse up for the first on Saturday, Alabama State. But aside from that, I wanted to draw the jaunty name game to your attention, which is something my family's always done for anyone we introduce to racing that doesn't know a whole heap about it and doesn't know what horses to pick. And I'll tell you something, the jaunty name multis usually come in just as much as all the other ones. So my jaunty name, each way lucky 15 for Saturday, is Wiggles, I'm a Dirty Rascal, Wagga Wagga, and Macarena. And for $1 each way lucky 15, you spend 30 bucks, and if they all win, you get about 15 grand. So I'm going to chuck that on. Hopefully it comes home, and hopefully so does Alabama State. I would have put in Lady Shenanigans, but it's running against mine, so can't do that. All the best for the weekend.
Love your work, Jack. Definitely going to be speaking about Alabama State in a little bit. The jaunty name game, hey? From what I assume there, you just take a bunch of silly names, put them in and hope for the best. And you know what? We had this the other week with when Lockie called in. Name bets. Are they a thing? They definitely are.
Vibe bet,
name bet, omen bet. You know, we got one up. Immortal Star, that was an omen bet, bit of a name bet. And, you know, got the job done. So fingers crossed, Jack gets that up and he's, 15K richer. Lovely stuff. All right, mate. Take us to the listener questions.
We've got a couple live ones. The first live one, talking with Max, do you blokes bet midweek? Only on a Wednesday. We'll put a couple out. Not too many. We usually just focus on a Saturday. Very rarely do we punt elsewhere.
Yeah, put one out today and it ran like shit. So, Saturdays are the day to be betting. Wednesdays, the odd one will come out. But yeah, Saturdays are the days to be betting.
Josh Costa, who do you like for the Everest? Field's barely out. Jolly Star looks all right. I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see. I think we'll
got to wait for the field. It's one of those races that, they just pick who they want to pick. You may not even be the best horse like Imperatriz last year. But, next one.
And then Josh goes Bella or I wish I win for the Everest. So we'll wait and see, like we said. And Max goes, how's the Tessort filly you guys bought into going?
Lovely bit of horse chat. We've got them here, actually. The Ole Kirk Colt, Ole Kirk Gelding now, sorry, and the Tessort filly. Both going well. Pretty sure they're both currently out in the
education.
Out in the the education out in the paddocks. They both should be coming back into Richard Lidd's stable sometime in the next couple months. And we're looking forward to it. Of course, we're going to do Cashy versus Nick. One of these horses is going to be mine. Nick's going to take the other one. We're going to get out there once they hit the stable and film it, and we're going to let the horses choose. We'll tease that, but the horses will be choosing their owners, and then we'll be seeing which horse goes better, Nicko's or Cashy's. And then, of course, the pictures will switch based on the side of, whose is whose. But, yeah, they're currently there, and we're very much so looking forward to it, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, we are. We've got a lot of content to come out of there, so that'd be pretty cool. So this isn't who owns which ones just yet, but we do own both connected at the moment, but we're going to choose them in a little bit. So we'll move on to the Instagram questions. This is a good one. Favorite length of race? 1,000 meter, 1,400, 16, 2,000, etc.
Give me a race over the mile. I think that sorts the men from the boys. Lovely mile race. They need to get in nice and early and time it right down the straight. Yeah, best races are over the mile.
I'll go 1,400 just to change it up a bit. I do like the mile, but I think 1,400 probably. I think we do a lot of our best punting at the 1,400. A lot of horses that do well. Like
that's not a bad shout, actually.
We do have a lot. Favorite race day to attend?
Epsom Day. Ooh.
Epsom
Day, yeah. 3 Group 1s on the day, plus the first 2-year-old races of the spring. And usually beers are flowing, DJs are cranking. So, yeah, Epsom Day.
And I'm the Everest. Love the Everest. I think the vibe's just awesome. And what's your biggest win on the punt? You spoke about yours the other week.
Yeah, my Quaddie. I won $7,000, so I'll never probably win that ever again.
Yeah, I've won a couple. I think I've won like 1,200 or something. Mostly on the AFL, but haven't won too much big on the horses. Really, we bet together for our double account, so it kind of goes connected, so it all gets half. We'll do our final one. One more's come through from Tom Wilkins. Post-impressionalist or over Berkshire Breeze? ?
I mean, it's a tough one. I really wanted to bet into that race this week at Flemington, but it's just a tough one. I think the racing across Flemington is very tough across the board. Most races have really good chances. You got Berkshire Breeze. All of these really in the Lexus Archer Stakes are looking for maybe a cup spell come later in the spring. I'd probably go a Berkshire Breeze over Post Impressionist. I probably would even go a Point King over all of them, if I'm being honest. I think Point King last start was really, really good. But, I mean, yeah, throw a dartboard at a board with that. It's a very open race.
Fair enough. We'll move on then. Thank you guys for all the questions. Really appreciate it. Getting more and more every week.
Yes, we're getting less time to fit it all in. So please still give you actually one more, because I know one guy did request it last week and then he put it in again this week. He said, what would be our ideal breeding? He always wanted to see, what was it? An Animo Imperatriz horse. He always wanted to see Animo and Imperatriz breed. So who would you want to see breed together?
If I got to choose two, it's hard to go past Winks and Nature Strip.
Can you imagine? But Nature Strip does not have its nuts. But imagine if he had his nuts and was able to get in. That'd probably be like the ultimate 1,200, 1,400 horse.
Well, you're saying like, he doesn't have his nuts, but clearly they can't breed anyway. So it's a hypothetical. So I don't know why.
True.
I don't know why you destroyed my dream like that.
Sorry, man. I always wanted to see Very Elegant and Frankel get together, but again, that's not going to happen because Very Elegant died. R.I.P.
That was morbid.
But yeah, I guess those are the answers. Dream scenario, if it was possible, Very Elegant X Frankel and then Nature Strip X Winks. Okay, so we'll head to the rundown. Track report for Rosehill.
Punt to the Future.
Of course. Punt to the Future. We've got 2 more to put down. So we've made 3 futures bets each. We've got 2 more to give out, $50 spend each over the spring. And hopefully we find some winners. Mine this week, I'm going to Spring Champion Stakes Fearless. Resumes in the Golden Rose. Hopefully just a nice tick over, runs over the top of them late. Probably, I don't think we'll be winning, but, gains that fitness. It's always one of those run-on horses that looks for longer and longer. Hopefully can get out to the 2,000 meters and make a big run at $15.
I'm going the 2-rack over the 1,600, and I'm going Pericles. Not sure if it'll get there, but I think it's paying 13 on double, so it's good enough for me to go with this week. So with that, we'll get straight into the rundown, mate. Take us to the track report.
Yes, sorry. Okay, Rosehill track report. Soft 5 currently, for the only reason I could ever imagine is that they've just irrigated the heck out of it. It should get to a good 4 by race day because, there's nothing but dry river in Sydney at the moment. Rails out 5 meters, so be aware, punters. A leader's bias could happen again. There was a leader's bias with 2-meter rail last time at Rosehill. And, of course, we saw the leader's bias at Randwick on the weekend. Last time the rail was out this fast, 6 of the 10 winners were sat in the first 4 of the field going around the 400-meter bend into the straight. If you extend that out to the first 6 going around the bend, you'd make that 9 out of the 10 winners. So, look, no guarantees, punters, that it's going to happen. Just be aware of it. Monitor it. I would say if you're looking early, try and find those leaders. But just see what happens on the day. There could definitely be the place to be just off them. Let the leaders do all the work early, sit just off them, and then pounce late. But yeah, please be aware of it and punt accordingly. Look, I'll let you take race one today because I've just done a lot of talking and I've got a lot of dribble about this because I've got some mail from Jack Pilkington to go through. So I'll let the punters get a rest from my voice for the next minute or so. You take it first.
I'm going with Silent Star, $11, $3.40. It's a tough race midway. I know we'll talk about Alabama State in a little bit. Like you said, Pilco's sent us through some stuff, which is good. But just to tip someone a bit different, just so we cover a horse as well. I'll go Silent Star, $11, $3.40, like I said. Last start, 4th place. Can't complain on at Canterbury with Timmy Clark on board. So that'll be me.
Okay, yeah. So I've suggested that I was going to talk about this a few times now. We're finally here. Jack Pilkington, lovely bloke. We know him well. Loves listening to the pod as well. He tells me that he listens to it every time he shovels his shit out of his horse boxes over in Hawkesbury because it makes it go faster for him. So, yeah, he's got the favourite in the midway. We all know that I don't love a favourite in the midway, but he sent me this great mail. I had a call with him this afternoon, and he basically laid out the plan. You know, he's very confident. His connections are confident. Tyler Schiller rode him in track work the other day, jumped off very confident that he was going to be riding a winner on Saturday as well. So look, you know, he reckons, you know, slot in maybe around 6th to 8th in the going, and then, you know, hopefully pounce over the top of them at the end there. He reckons the horse always is smart enough to put itself in the right spot and is always in it. The bookies never really get around it. This time they're not missing him because the last couple of times it won, it was at much bigger prices than this. So they're making sure that they don't miss it. And he thinks it's potentially a stakes horse. He thinks potentially it can get to a stakes race later in the spring, if not have a crack in the autumn, because it still has its nuts on it. They could potentially breed from it if they wanted to. So he thinks that they can, you know, start building through these midways and get to a stakes race. So he says if it doesn't win on the weekend, and he thinks the only reason it doesn't is because of the barrier. He said literally the only knock is the barrier. He said if it doesn't win, please put it in your black books, follow it, because he is very confident that the next 6 months for this horse is going to be a big one. So, I mean, you know, we've got the trainer saying it's a really good chance. We've got apparently the jockey saying it's a really good chance. Really, really low weight. You know, $3.30. Don't love the price. It won't be a massive stake, but he's definitely going to be my on top pick. And like I said, the only knock is apparently the barrier, mate. So fingers crossed he gets the job done.
Fair enough, and thanks, Pilco. Hopefully you're enjoying shoveling your shit right now. So we'll move to race 2, Highway, Class 3. Dartboard here, pretty tough one. I think the favourite's too heavy of a weight. It's got an apprentice on board claiming 3 kilos, but I think it'll just be too much. I'm going Spirits Burn Deep at $13 and $3.80. I'm going a bit rough here. Won't be one of my betting plays for the day. I will be staying away from this race. Punt is another apprentice on board, getting this claim down to 52 kilos, which will be nice. Last run, 2nd place at Rosehill at a bigger price. So we'll have a look here at 1,400, gets the extra 200 and should do well.
Yeah, lovely. Look, you mentioned the favourite. All things considered, it should be winning, but I've already tipped a favourite in the midway, and I don't like tipping favourites in these really open races. And again, weight's a factor. I know that the claim gets it down a bit, but still. So I'll spec Medina at $12 to win $3.40 to place punters. Loves the distance, loves a dry track. Also meets the favourite with a 7 kilo weight swing. The last time they met was in a highway here. The favourite came out on top, but you know, it goes up in weight. Medina goes down in weight, 7 kilos better. $12 to win, $3.40. Happy to go it. Race 3 we go to 1,800 meters benchmark 84. So United and Too Much Caviar will likely be 1 and 2 going around the bend, and might prove hard to run down, especially with a potential leader's bias like we saw last time. I can't believe I said on the pod, I'm going to kick myself if Too Much Caviar gets up because we're always on him, and that's exactly what happened. And I can't believe I'm going to risk it again, but I don't have him. I hope you've covered him, but you might not have as well. And again, he's probably going to get up now. But I'm sticking with Unusual Legacy. Bias was against him last start. Plus, you know, I think, you know, he closed off pretty well behind Caviar. He should be able to stick closer to them now. Goes up in distance, $3.60. You know, last time he was second up, he blew him away. I'm hoping that he just takes that fitness and does the exact same thing here. So Unusual Legacy.
I'll take Too Much Caviar.
Thank God.
Ran well last start. We both missed out on it, but won very nicely. So I'll take her there. As we move to the next race, number 4, 2,400 meters, benchmark 78. Another tough one here. I'll probably be sticking away from this one. Yet again, punters. I'm going for First Light. Tommy Berry, Chris Waller combo, $11, $3.40 for a place. Last start, 4th behind Madu Salem. I can't say it. I literally can never read. And Monarch Spray, who I was on last time, I think. So looking all right. Should be nice here. First Light for me.
Hate to make it 3 favorites out of 4, but don't worry, the value is coming soon. Campadino just looks, the goods. It's $4.20 currently. Drops in weight. Also maps to get, a clear lead. And like we said, if it could potentially be a leader's bias, hopefully just runs away with it at $4.20. Campadino. Race 5, 1,500 meters, benchmark 78, straight to the point. I would not be betting in this race if I were you. It is the most open race of the day. Not for quality reasons, like the Run to the Rose that we'll discuss later. That's a very, very open race because they're all so good. This is a very open race because they're all so average. Can't personally back anything with confidence, but if you need one to have on top, it'll be Vivier for me. $7.50 to win, $2.60. Drops weight, solid setup, finds a weaker field than last start. Just has to hope that she can kick enough to find a way into the money or even win. It'll literally be $5 each way maximum because this race, very yucky.
Mayor of Mount Buller for me. First up, won at first up before, 1 from 2 starts. Not much in this race. Wouldn't bet on it, punters. Move to the next one. Race number 6, 1,200 meters here. Jolly Star's your favorite, $1.75. It's going to probably even crunch even to $1.60, I'd say. I don't think it's getting out there. I think should win pretty nicely. I think if you want to get a betting point of view, I'd take Commemorative. Last start wasn't too bad. $10, $2.10 for a place isn't too bad for me. But I just think Jolly Star's too strong for this one. So if you really want to include her, put her in multis, but I wouldn't take her on the nose. If you want to take someone on the nose for a bit of value, I'd go Commemorative.
So Jolly Stars, you're on top of, but if you're desperate for a bet, probably stick away.
Jolly Stars going to be in a lot of my multi-plays for the day, but I won't be betting on the nose. But if someone wanted a rougher bet, Commemorative is what I'd say to them. But I think Jolly Star wins.
Yeah, Jolly Star should be winning, but I cannot entertain that price whatsoever. Multis only, like you said, Nick. Belclair's a really interesting prospect here. Group 1 winner from New Zealand, but that was over the mile. It's 0 from 7, hasn't even placed, I believe, in the 1,200 meters. However, Bjorn Train, King Ridden, you'd think that it probably goes forward. Only Bias probably gets it home, or maybe she's just really classy and shows us how to get the job done. Include her in your exotics just in case. But Sunshine in Paris has to be my bet. Loves running first up. Won this race impressively last year. First up. Should probably sit right behind the speed and just runs past them late at $4.20. Like I said, I think maybe the place to be will not be right out in front. Probably just behind them, I think. So that's probably where she's going to map as well. So Sunshine in Paris. As we move to race 7, the 1,400 meter Group 3 Ming Dynasty Quality. I'm a big fan of this race because this is a big race for the unknowns. And what I mean by that, Nick, and punters, is like these are usually the 3-year-olds that like came out of nowhere. Like they were the ones that debuted through winter or debuted only just recently, and they're coming into this with the second or third starts. NCAP Golden Mile, Coast Watch, the last 3 winners all fit that bill. I'm going with a horse that fits that bill. It's not Mayfair. That is the favourite due to the Stormboy form and the potential leader bias, and that is fair enough. If you back Mayfair, don't blame me whatsoever. It is a fantastic setup. But like I said, I'm one for the unknowns, the recent debutante. So that's why I'm going Iron Hawk. Juicy price, $17 to win, $4.60 to place. He's probably been the most eye-catching horse his last 2 starts, not named Autumn Glow. Both of them came behind Autumn Glow, and that is A1 form you'd think for a race like this. And he has always been storming home late and just screaming for more, which he gets now. Also on debut, beat Similarian or Similarian, however you say it. The horse that pissed in on the weekend in Melbourne. So yeah, it's got great form around it. I can't see other than maybe the bias, why $17, $4.60 is the price that went up. So each way on Iron Hawk for me there.
I take Henline into this one. $8, $2.70 for a place. Fourth barrier looks nice. Tommy Berry riding. Should be up and about there. I think this 3-year-old colt should go well. So we'll take that one as we move to race 8, Storm Boys race. Was it 1,200 meters?
Yes, the Group 2 run to the Rose.
Wins for me. Storm Boy wins. I think it's pretty simple. Looks pretty nice. Wins again. Is going pretty good.
All right, fair enough. It's an exciting race. Spoiled for choice, really. You know, it's either Storm Boy or you're looking for value. I'm going to look for value just because the price has dipped below the $2 mark. And I have no idea really to look at. You've got, you know, my spring champion tip Fearless, but like I said, probably is going to run on too late, maybe a place at best. Switzerland, nice price for such a really, you know, he's such a strong horse. And you didn't think you'd ever going to see him at $7.50 the way he was running around as a 2-year-old. Traffic Warden, also a very strong chance. But I've settled on linebacker here. Likely going to be end up on the speed, be the one that's going to trail Storm Boy. So I certainly, you know, see him ending up somewhere around the finish. $12 to win, $2.70. I'm more than happy to look silly if he comes out and runs like shit at that price, because I'm probably looking, you know, Storm Boy's at $2.90, $2.70 just a place. I'm looking for a place, and then if it wins, I'm jumping for joy. Also, Fraud Watch on Bustling. Let's see if it can match up with the Eastern 3-year-olds after dominating Perth. Let's see if he can hack it here. If he wants to be a good Everest horse, he surely needs to be putting in a good run here, wouldn't you think?
You'd think so. I think against Storm Boy, it will come second best. So takes the race 9, mate.
Fair enough. Race 9, 1,300 meter, Group 2 Theomark Stakes. Very interesting field here. Celestial Legends is one of my favorite horses going around right now. He does usually need a run or two to get going, and he doesn't usually love these shorter distances, but he does love Rosehill. That's one thing for sure. And he does, you know, have the class. He's a 2-time Group 1 winner compared to a few others in here. But to be fair, you look at some of these prices. Osipenko at $31, nuts. Redina at $31, nuts. It's an Epsom winner. It won the Epsom this time last year. $31, what are you doing? I don't understand some of the prices in this race. You know, that's why there's so much value around. I want to have a quick double play here. Quickly, Celestial Legend will be my main tip. I do think the class just gets it home. But I really do want to have you know, maybe $5 each way on New Energy at $16 to win, $4.20 to place. Just a small play because I respect him so much. His Aussie debut was fantastic. And then his subsequent 2 starts, he had shocking barriers. He gets a second barrier here. He's going to be able to sit a bit closer to them. And I think he can find his way into the finish. And like I said, at $4.20, I'm really looking for a place. The old, you know, if you got $10 to spend, put $2.50 on the win, $7.50 on the place. But yeah, Celestial Legend main tip, but I've got a cheeky each way. I'll play on New Energy as well.
I got a win chat here, $7.50, $2.60 for a place. We follow this horse pretty closely. I think the 6 kilo less than Celestial Legend will give it the win in the end. Doesn't mind the distance, I don't think. It's won there before. It's run there a couple times. So not too shabby as we move to the last of the day, mate. Benchmark 88, 1,100 meters to end the day. It's going to be a real nice finish over at Rosehill. And I'm going to go with Blanc de Blanc here. Had it last start. Came second. Only missed it by just a little bit. But it's going to get it done here, I think. It's moving up in class, I know, but it ran pretty well where I can retain my bet on it.
Fair enough. Look, shocked the Black Cloud isn't favourite here. Jumped up to group racing. Ran fairly. Didn't hang enough to stay at group racing. Comes all the way back to benchmark 88. We'll be right up on speed and hopefully just digs and digs and digs. $6 to win, $2.25. I'm laughing that it's at each way. It's one of my more confident tips of the day, and to get it at that price, I love it. A certain bookie has it as the best of the day, which I don't love because usually they don't run that amazingly. But yeah, the Black Cloud, I think that'll be a great way to finish off the day. And if it stays at $6, I'm absolutely cheering.
Fair enough.
All right, mate, we're going to head into the tip-off. But before we get into it, just a quick shout-out to our good friends over at Stridyl. Of course, if you're looking to get into horse racing ownership, we've already talked about our horses that we, were once listed on Stridyl as well. We've got them with Monarch Racing, trained by Richard Litt, of course. We're very excited. But if you too want to find your way into, racehorse ownership, Stridyl.com's marketplace makes it really, really easy. So head to Stridyl.com to find your next racehorse today for free. And also a shout out to Dabble, because we will be streaming with them again on Friday night.
Yeah, shout out. We had a stream last week, which went pretty well. So if you want to watch us on there, we'll be doing another AFL stream through the Hawks and Port game, where we've got another game to follow for us. So it should be nice.
Should be very good, very good. Of course, if you're signing up to Dabble to join us there, make sure if you're going to do so, set a deposit limit and gamble responsibly. Now, mate, before we get into the race, it's the Makybe Diva Stakes, of course, but we have some business to attend to. We said by about week 5 we were going to have the forfeit set, so we've narrowed it down to 4. There's been a lot of comments, there've been a lot of texts. I even got a message from a mate the other day who said the forfeit should get kicked by a horse.
That'd be so...
Shan't be happening. I don't want to break a rib. But we've narrowed it down to 4. Would you like to read them out for us?
So you got to run 1 kilometer for every point you lose by to the opposition. We don't know if it'll be to the opposition or to the person that wins, because let's say if you beat me by 1 point or I beat you by 1 point, it's only 1 kilometer.
We'll figure out whichever's biggest.
So whichever's biggest, which could be 40 kilometers, and you got to run that in one sitting, let's say.
Yeah, either one sitting or 2 maximum if the body gives out on that first attempt.
Well, if you're losing by 40 points, mate, I'd be worried.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like we should be able to.
Sitting.
Yeah, true. One sitting. The only way you're able to, if it goes over a marathon, you're allowed to break it down in 2, because I can't run an ultra marathon. But kilometer for every point we lose by. We also have 24 hours Macca's challenge, which means you got to sit in a McDonald's for 24 hours every time you eat a quarter pounder. Should we make it, or a cheeseburger?
Okay, up to you. Every time you eat a burger of
a burger of some
kind,
a burger of some description, you get an hour taken off that. God, that'd be hell. What's the next one?
10-meter dive. So we go out to Homebush, and the loser has to jump off the top diving board. So
yeah, you're not very fond of heights, so you wouldn't like that one, would you?
Yeah, I'm not fond of heights, but I'm not I'd do it. If I lost, I'd go up and do it.
Fair enough. And the last one, a calendar shoot. So the loser has to shoot a calendar. That means 12 photos to go in a calendar. We might even sell them at the end if this is the one we have to do. You can get creative with it. You can get fun with it, but you have to hire a professional cameraman to shoot you 12 times for a calendar. The old Mock Sports calendar shoot if you are the loser. But those are the 4 options. We're going to put them out on the social media. You're going to have to vote for them. The one with the most votes is going to win. We're going to announce it next week on the pod, and that's what we're going to build to. All the weeks. For the next 10 weeks after that, we're going to remind you you're playing for this. It's either a kilometer for every point you lose by, 24 hours in a Macca's, diving off the 10-meter block, or doing a calendar shoot. So those are the 4 options. We need to prepare ourselves to potentially do one of them. But, mate, take us through the field of this Makybe Diva Stakes. It's one hell of a group of horses that have been combined here.
Yeah, you got V Sistina, you got Brightside, you got Pride of Jenny, you got Pinstripes, who won 2 weeks back, Atishu, Antino, Warmonger, and Circle of Fire. So, yeah, decent field. I'd say, yeah, not too sure. It's up for discussion, I think. V Sistina looked absolutely insane first up. Second up should look even better. Brightside looked pretty good first up. Pride of Jenny probably didn't go too well first up, but as it gets a bit more distance, it probably does a bit better. I still think it's shouting for a little bit more, but in saying that, punters, I think this is a good sign. If Pride of Jenny loses, we can cash in a bit more on a bigger race where she's running at a bit more distance, where we reckon she can win, and probably get her at the $8-9 mark and make some good money off it. So,
yeah, back out to more of a backable price. Like I said,
yeah.
I had to back her just because you never knew what she was going to do. Didn't love the price, but she'll start to get back out to those 6, 8s, 9s.
Well, I'm hoping she loses, because I'm not on her here, and if she loses here, I'll probably be on her on the next start. And I think that at that next start, she'll get $8-9, and I can really load into her and make some money off her.
Yeah, honestly, I think I would have had Pinstriped in the can't win, but after last time, who knows what's going to happen. The only horses I think can't win are Circle of Fire and Warmonger, purely because you'd think this has to be just a trial run for the Cups later on in the spring, because that's where they're headed. But other than that, I don't think any of the other 6 would probably shock me. Maybe an Antino would shock me, or maybe even in a Tissue. But again, I wouldn't see it and go, that makes no sense. Like a Circle of Fire winning first up against these horses over the mile, that would probably make me go, okay, what the hell's happening here? But look, you have to probably narrow it down to the first 3 in the market. Sistina, Brightside, Jenny. Out of those 3, have you found your horse, or are you going outside of them?
Oh, I've obviously got one inside that 3. I think it's interesting that McAvoy doesn't retain the ride now that Riff Rocket's out. J-Mac comes off Riff Rocket because Riff Rocket's had a cardiac, something wrong.
Yeah, colic, I think. So you would have thought that J-Mac would have followed it down to Melbourne, was always going to ride Via Sistina over it, but surprised, like you said, that a Karen McAvoy hasn't followed down as well to ride the other Waller horse.
So...
then the injury ended up taking it out in the end. But I mean, look, you can make a case for all 3. Who have you gone for?
Sistina. I think I had a last start. She's the best horse in this race, I think. Probably one of the best horses in the country right now. I think it'll be close. I think Brightside finishes close in the second. Could even get the win, but I think Via Sistina should take this one out. 1600 seems to be one of her best distances, I think.
Look, I'll tell you what, during the week, Miles Fitzner, he said on the radio that Pride of Jenny is not going to win a single race for the rest of the spring, and he copped a lot of flack for it. I agree with him to a certain point. I don't think I agree with the no races for the rest of the spring, but I do not think Pride of Jenny is beating Via Sistina this spring. If they ever line up against each other, I cannot see Pride of Jenny beating Via Sistina again. Now that the jockeys won't be asleep at the wheel, J-Mac's going to be able to absorb that pressure and then, probably bridge that gap a little bit more instead of letting her get 13 lengths out like the Queen Elizabeth happened. So I am that confident that Pride of Jenny will not beat Via Sistina this spring, that every time Pride of Jenny does, I'll eat, a hot pepper, whether it be a jalapeno or a habanero. I'll do it live on the pod. I'm very confident that if Via Sistina meets Pride of Jenny, Via Sistina's hitting the line first. And that starts with this weekend. I'm very, very confident that Sistina, one of the best horses in the country, is going to get the job done. $2.30. She just gets the job done. Very confident in it.
Very easy. Well, we'll move to around the grounds here. I've got a couple. I've gone Flemington Race 3 Drifting, $3.80. Race 4 Growing Empire, $1.90. And then race 7, I've got Quintessa as well. I'll probably play a multi with Growing Empire, Jolly Star, and I'll probably find another one in there as well. So we'll get that posted up for you guys, because I know you guys have been following my around the ground multis at the moment because they've been going too well. I probably will include Storm Boy in there as well. So in saying that, that's probably paying about $7-8 in itself if you want to get on that. But we'll have it out on Double, which you can check out on Saturday, and we'll probably post it on Instagram. So you can check it out on there.
Yeah, around the grounds, I'm going against you in race 3 down at Flemington. I've got Bulba Steel instead because of the Mornington Glory form. It just got outgunned by Mornington Glory first up, and that horse has now come out and won the Group 1. And the only time she was down the straight, absolutely loved it, and actually beat Drifting. So perfect setup, I think, at $3.90, Bulba Steel. Then race 9, I'm a big Sands Dude guy. Especially when it's down the straight. It has done some freakish things down the straight. So it's $7 to win, $2.50. I am licking my lips. But the main play around the grounds, similar. I'm going to be playing a multi. I've already posted it up on the socials. If you missed it, it's a multi of Growing Empire into Via Sistina. Race 4 into race 8. Because like I said, I'm very confident Via Sistina wins. And I think the only way you're going to get a good price about her is by putting Growing Empire in and hoping and praying that just gives you a massive odds boost. And then by the time that horse wins in race 4, hopefully you've got Via Sistina paying over $4 by the end of it. But either way, I still think Via Sistina wins, whether or not the other Yulong horse gets the job done. So that's what I've got for around the grounds.
Fair enough. We'll move to the quaddie. We've got race 7, Mayfair, Iron Hawk, Lady Shinoda, and Henline. Race 8, Stormboy, Linebacker, Switzerland, Traffic Warden. Race 9, Celestial Legend, Wind Chat, New Energy, and NCAP. Race 10, The Black Cloud, Ostraka, Blanc de Blanc, and we cannot leave out Foxfighter after we missed out with that last week.
Never
$40.
again.
Sorry, Will Mitchell. $50 gets you 19.5% as always. Mate, can have any bet around the country. What are you having this weekend?
I think it's been pretty clear. I've got quite the horn for Via Sistina. I just don't think she loses. $2.30, Flemington race 8. The girl just gets it done.
I'll take Storeboy, $2. I think I'm pretty confident with that, and they're 2 pretty decent races as well. So
100%. Could we go 3 best bet sweeps in a row?
I hope so. That's all from us in the end, I think. Good luck for the weekend. Gamble responsibly as always. Do your best. Catch us Friday night for a stream on Dabble if you want to watch us. If not, don't worry about it. But yeah, good luck for the weekend.
Yes, good luck for the weekend. And of course, next Thursday, 10 a.m. will be in your ears just like always during the spring. See you guys.